Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Thursday, and all of our guests today are brought to you by the sponsors of our poll question. The Waddling Dog over on the island. Whitecaps over into Miami 3-1. Vancouver wins 5-1 on aggregate versus Messi and company. That was the second leg of their CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinal. They're on to the final now. 7-1-2 in MLS play for the Whitecaps. Number one overall in MLS. Their MLS schedule continues. Man, they're busy. They host Real Salt Lake on Saturday. Here to talk about all of that is Paul Dolan. Paul, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Great circumstances to catch up, guys. What a night. What a year it's been for Vancouver Whitecaps. It's incredible.
Yes, it has been a great year. How do you think it compares to 1979, Paul? Because that's the argument that's the argument we've been having all day.
Yeah, well, of course, and it's a good one. Good sports dog banter, right? Well, do you have to love one kid more than the other? You know, I was there for both. I was there as a young fan, 13-year-old in 1979. Who was among the 100,000 plus, if lore is to be right, and it's 250,000 or more who are down at the, the courtyard or whatever you call it in downtown Vancouver, Robson Square. That was the highlight of my youth sports experiences. Yeah. Going to those games at Empire Field or Empire Stadium, obviously as it was then, to see them beat the New York Cosmos in the semifinal, to see them win in New York against Tampa Bay in the final. It was everything to me at that time. But the run that the Whitecap team is on now, I don't think you can diminish it and say that it's any less impressive than what we saw in 1979. The teams that they've beaten, the way that they have convincingly played, those teams off the park, even in the games that they drew late in Mexico, I thought they were the better team in every game that they've played in this playdown to get where they are now in the final. Now, of course, they haven't won the cup yet, and they've got a big challenge ahead of them against the Mexican team. We'll find out tonight, Tigres or Cruz Azul, and it might have to be in Mexico. But if they win down in Mexico, it would be very hard for me to hang on to that NESL trophy as the biggest one in Whitecaps history. If they win.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's good to see you're not sitting on the fence, which I thought you were doing at the start of that answer. But before we go any further, Paul, so you were 13 around 1979?
Right.
Was that 5 or 6 years? Was that 5 or 6 years before you bought the Porsche that Rick talks about?
Dolly, you've always got to bring that one up, don't you?
Hey.
Yeah, that was 7 years before I bought the Porsche.
There you go. A Porsche. Brad, tell me it was used.
Oh yeah, it was a Bondomobile. It had great mags though. Yeah. It looked the part from, it was good from far, far from good, one of those types of cars. And it flooded like crazy, especially in the passenger seat, especially in the winter too. It wasn't, it ended up in, I think, House Sound at one point. The guy I sold it to, he tried to get rid of it and drove it into the ocean. So there's a story behind it. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. One day when we have more time. So 5-1 on aggregate over Messi and Inter Miami. Are they that much better than Inter Miami, the Whitecaps?
Well, there's this thing called game state where once a game's over, teams, especially with a game coming up this week, although Miami kept their guns out there the whole time. I couldn't believe it. The thing was done and dusted, 5-1. They're not coming back from that. You could see the heads drop on the Miami team. This was a big thing for them to win a CONCACAF Champions Cup, to win trophies with this group while they've got them. It's only going to be another 1 or 2 years. Who knows if Suarez is back next year, Busquets. We think that Messi will be back for 1 more year. But it's important that they take advantage of this window. And to see Vancouver completely dominate, even after going down a goal, I thought they were the better team in Vancouver as well, even though Miami started out with a lot of possession of the ball. But they've just committed to getting forward, controlling the game, not sitting back and defending, as you think you might. With a 2-0 lead away from home, you think, okay, well, let's just sit back, try to clog up the lanes, make sure that they don't get too close to our goal. But they didn't. They came out flying, attacking again. They've conceded early, and I thought, oh, no, this could be a one-way traffic from here on in after 9 minutes. But they didn't sit back. They continued to push forward. They had the confidence of the manager, and all the players are stepping up and playing to their level, or even what seems to be in some cases, like Sebastian Berhalter, playing above any level we ever could have expected for a young midfielder who wasn't a regular starter, remember, last year under Vanni Sartini.
Hey, Paul, where's this coming from? They parted ways with Manny last year. The team's for sale. Vanny, I always call him Manny. Manny Malhotra. I'm thinking Manny. Good one, Paul.
Do you know something, Rick? Is he the head coach of the Canucks?
Okay, let me start all over, Paul. Where's this coming from? They parted with Vanny. Team's for sale. The new coach comes in late. Number 1 in the MLS. Huge wins in Mexico. You beat Messi twice in 6 days. Where's this guy? And they're doing it with Ryan Gauld out in the last 8 weeks. What is going on?
I'm absolutely awestruck at what's happening because I don't know the answer to that. I don't think anyone can really pinpoint it. It's impossible not to give some credit to Jesper Sorensen. Do you give all the credit to a manager and all the fault to the outlying manager? Absolutely not. I think Vanni Sartini laid a lot of the foundation for the culture of this club, for the way that they play, their kind of joy of being around each other. You see that so evident. You hear Sebastian Berhalter speak about it right after the game, and all the players really, how they love being a part of this group. And when you catch fire, as they've done, that confidence, it can't be understated how important confidence is. It just begats more confidence and more belief, and you feel like you can do anything. And I see that in individual players. But, I wonder, is Jesper Sorensen getting the best out of Sebastian Berhalter? Is he getting more out of Matias Laborda before he was injured? Pedro Vite is playing out of his skin right now. Where has that come from? Just the belief to give him the more minutes? Or is it just a natural progression as well, that you expect that young players over time, given some more minutes, start to blossom as they've done? But it's like all kind of clicking and coming together, obviously at the right time as well for Vancouver. You hope it can continue. I keep thinking with their midweek games that they're playing, they're going to run out of gas. But their game plan yesterday was to outrun Miami, knowing that even in that heat where they're not comfortable with it, and Miami is, that they, in the last 10 minutes of that game, if it was close, could outrun and, their fitness would pay off. In the end, it didn't even need to go that far because they absolutely battered them.
Paul, they're scoring at an incredible clip. 5 against Miami, 3 in between. That's 8 goals in 3 games. That's without Ryan Gauld. Like the goals, and there's some beautiful touches with the goals, some spectacular goals. Like, did you expect the goals this year? That they're just, filling the net?
Maybe the most impressive win is the one nobody's talking about. The game on the weekend in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. How, with 8 changes, against a really defensively good team in Minnesota who hadn't lost in 8 games. How do they go in there with all those changes and again smear Minnesota United at home there? It just, and like you said, Rick, the goals that they're scoring, Berhalter top corner, Vite chips the keeper and then scores a nice one on a build-up. And again, it's the number of bodies that are inside the area. When it was 3-1 in that game in Minnesota, Vovalina, the right back, is inside the area, almost making it 4. They continue to push forward. They don't sit back and play kind of a defensive, boring style and just try to catch you on the counterattack. They go for it. And that's, I think, throwing some teams off. And it's a lot of fun to watch as well.
You're going to have a hard time next time you run into Bob Lenarduzzi not overwhelmingly supporting our support of the 1979 Soccer Bowl as the greatest soccer event in Vancouver history.
Look,
and Carl,
you know how big that moment was for me, and I'm not diminishing at all. But I will be seeing Bobby on the pickleball court.
There you go.
With a big alumni charity event, and when I see him there, I'll give him a little dig. But even he, as obviously a big member of the club, still probably can't believe what he's seeing right now.
Do you know the exact location in the Howe Sound where that car is? Submerged.
I don't know. I think it's a few feet submerged. Yeah, it's pretty. It's rustier than it was going in. I can say that.
That's saying something. Dolan,
not much.
Thanks for this, buddy. Appreciate it.
Okay.